time. Yeah.
Hello. Is that good?
Hi.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I was just wondering when I was going to get
That was
it.
your signature hello
No,
for so long.
that was a little bit much.
Nah.
No, that was how you used to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
used to do it
See,
like that
I
every
didn't know
time.
that. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I hope everybody's having a great weekend so far. Man, these weekends go by so fast. And I always think of Annie. I always think, she gets off early on Friday, and so she's got like 2.5 days most weekends. She has 2.5 days, and so I'm like, I'll get up on Saturday morning, and I'll like, oh, she's got 2 whole days, and all of a sudden it's Bible study. It's like
2 days are gone.
I just can't believe
Yeah,
it.
you can't stuff off. You can't say, "Oh, I'll do this tomorrow," or "I'll just do it I'll do it later," because time comes and goes, and it's like, "Oh, I was going to do that later. It's now past later."
Yeah, and I don't really talk to her that much on the weekends. I figure she'll get in touch with me if she needs to talk to me. It's a really weird time of year. It's cold. It's cloudy. It's, most people just kind of hibernate a little bit. So I kind of feel
I think, and right now the weather is really wild with New York getting a bunch of snow and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But if you would kindly smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this show with your friends. And then if you are on Rumble, if you're not on Rumble, go to Rumble and start an account, because we will be there for half of the show. Right?
Well, we'll be on YouTube only for a while, and then we're going to be switching to Rumble.
Yeah.
So we can talk about things that YouTube and Google and Facebook and Twitter and, all they don't want us talking about.
Right.
Oh, and I was going to ask you, Dan, real quickly. You know how you were talking about China and Iran? I saw that on the news.
Yeah, she said something.
Yeah, they
about Iran and China.
They've always, China's always kind of stuck up for Iran.
Yeah, but what
they have a economic cooperative, and they're kind of friends. They're friendsies.
Yeah, see how it does on there. Yeah, but was it something specific? Hi, Jay.
No, I just saw it on the news.
Welcome.
Just saw it on the news, and I was like, wait a minute. Dan's been talking about China and Iran.
Yeah, they're buds.
Teaming up together.
Yeah, China and Iran and Russia are always China and Russia always go against the U.S. when it comes to Iran, and they stick up for Iran. And, so it's, it's one of those things where you just kind of watch and wait and see what happens. Because I really do think that Iran's going to be that catalyst that ignites the end of the war.
So I want to know how far they are from getting a nuclear bomb, because I've heard it's 2 weeks, and then I've heard it's a month.
Well, I've got to say this, because I know you and I have talked about this before. Because back in 2005, Iran was supposed to be like 2 weeks away from a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And here it is, 2023, and they still don't have one. So, you can believe what people are saying is likely, but we just need to wait and see what happens. We know that we don't know, but the chances are like almost 100% that they're eventually going to get a nuclear bomb.
I think we're just going to all of a sudden hear that they've completed.
And they're going to lob it at Tel Aviv or something, because
have you left out North Korea completely?
No.
Oh,
No,
'cause
Rocket Boy is not.
Rocket Man.
He's not someone to just discount.
No.
They saber rattle all the time. They threaten things they don't even have any power to do. But they're also frenzies with China, and there was something I just read actually where they're getting some kind of weaponry from Putin. That's right.
Putin has
from
been
Russia.
to North Korea.
Yeah.
Recently,
so
right?
they're having some kind of thing with Russia going on. Yeah. So
Mhm.
we
Russia,
don't discount him. No,
yeah.
Yeah.
And the first thing he's going to do when all
things
HELL breaks loose is what I would expect him to do would be to say, okay, I'm going taking South Korea now, and go in because they've got overwhelming conventional weapons for conventional warfare. They've got overwhelming force to go in and just take South Korea. If nobody backs up South Korea, they're going to be taken. Yeah. And if we're busy in a war, China says go ahead. China's busy fighting us. They might just do it. You never know. I mean, we don't have enough troops.
We don't have enough troops in South Korea.
Yeah, North Korea's got overwhelming force for conventional warfare, if that were the case. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Hey, Jody.
Hey, Jody. Welcome.
See, it's in your name though, instead of.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Okay.
So the Dananon that appears on Rumble is actually Colleen because she doesn't have a Rumble account, so we just use a separate account.
I do.
So. You do have a Rumble account? Yeah. Oh, well, you can log into that, and I'll just make
I don't know
that
what
account a moderator.
Is.
You don't know what it is?
Well,
so we'll by Wednesday.
I think it's like conservative Cal
we'll figure out what her account is and get her logged in, and I'll make her a moderator, and then she.
It's like conservative Cal or something. I don't know.
So at any rate, Dananon is us. So
conservative
when Dananon says something on Rumble, so
better than.
So anyway, welcome everyone.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. And I already said all my stuff, but I also want to remind you to go over to Facebook, if you still have a Facebook, and go to Godly Woman, Godly Wife, and like that page. It's growing. Since I've been saying stuff, it's been growing. 3,200, where it was at like 2,000. So it's gained a lot of people. There's like 20 people a day that go there and like the page. And I post on there daily. Every single day, 3 to 7 posts.
Yeah, and and one of the things, I've got, you can, if you wouldn't mind, honey, you can leave the banner running until I start sharing, and then. Because it's just at the bottom of the screen, and then banners, and then on this banner it also has my Facebook page and my Facebook group that I created. And the thing I was going to say is her page is growing because so far Facebook doesn't hate her, and because the one page that I have on there, facebook.com/Bible Prophecy and Truth, it's down to 14,000 followers. It had over 15,000 followers at one time. And it was very active. And all of a sudden, Facebook was dinging me and deleting posts, and they were and one day, just all of a sudden, one day overnight, it started getting like no views. Or just a few, maybe 12 views, out of 15,000 followers. Wow. And no activity, no nothing. I can't automatically stream to that page, but I can to Godly Woman, Godly Wife. So there's some kind of algorithm they've set up where they're blocking everything that I do, and they don't let anybody see anything.
More controversial stuff. For me, I don't say anything about Islam.
Yeah. So they don't hate you.
I don't say anything political. I just talk to women.
Yeah. So Godly Woman, Godly Wife is a page that Colleen runs and talks about God and being a godly woman and a godly wife.
And my sissy is an admin, but she doesn't go
Yeah.
I think she went in there one time with a picture
Yeah.
as a new admin,
Huh.
and then she never went on there.
Huh.
Yeah,
But-
I was
She's not a
looking-
social
But
media
for
person, but
for men, you can go to the what's scrolling on the banner there.
Yeah,
Bible
she's-
Prophecy and Truth
well,
is
she's
a
con-
page and a group,
Mhm.
which you can. So the group you can interact, you can post things. The page is pretty much it's a page, so I'm the only one that posts things. But you're welcome to join those as well if you're a man, and of course,
women do too.
yeah.
Prophecy and
well, I'm
Truth,
just saying if
Bible
you're
Prophecy and Truth.
most men wouldn't want to join Godly Woman, Godly Wife.
No.
So,
So
that's
anyway,
okay.
but Sissy, you can do your little thingy, spiel,
Your spiel.
spiel.
Okay. If you guys want some really good information on Bible stuff, go to BibleProphecyandTruth.com, to Dan's website. If you have any questions for Dan, you want to talk about some things that you've seen on his website or on our live stream, you can email him at prophecyandtruth@gmail.com. You can watch our live streams or videos at youtube.com/prophecyandtruth. Or go over to rumble.com/Bible prophecy. Right there.
Yeah.
Good
Hope it's
And
not
make
backwards.
sure that if
She's
you
perfected
are
that.
on Facebook or YouTube, that
Yep.
you go to Rumble and create an account there and follow Bible Prophecy, the Facebook or rumble.com/Bible prophecy, because there is going to come a time, it's getting closer and closer,
Yes.
where the little guys like me are going to be attacked by
Mm-hmm.
the censor
The
machine.
them.
And so far, I've been able to say a lot of things on YouTube. They've only deleted a few videos in the last few months, but they're going to get tougher. It's like I showed I think it was last week, I showed my Gmail account where Google is actually deleting ads that I've run for years. They've sent a little notification out that they're changing their rules. So, and I got one from Bing as well, from Microsoft, and they're going to be changing things very quickly.
Yeah.
And we're probably only going to be in Rumble at some point. So until then, we'll keep streaming to YouTube, but make sure you follow us there so that when we do disappear off YouTube, you know where to find us.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, while I'm talking about it, I like Rumble better now than I do YouTube. They've got playlists there. The streaming is good. There's some of the things aren't great, but Rumble is free speech, and that's the big thing. Is they're I might as well share here and get started. They're all the mainstream, the big tech, the deep state, the secret society, the they that are in control of everything, are eliminating all of our avenues to communicate with each other when it's things they don't like. And so that's why, we really need to start using the media that they can't get to. And so, go to Rumble. There's a lot of things on Rumble that you'll never see on YouTube. And, go to rumble.com/Bible prophecy. Follow my channel there, sign up if you don't have an account, and move to a platform where they're not going to try to shut you down if you say something they don't like.
Yeah.
Because if you've been following our channel, or if you've been looking at other news where people talk about these kinds of things, it's really important to get your news from somewhere besides mainstream, because otherwise all you're going to ever hear is lies. and they'll never tell you the truth. They will censor everybody that tries to say anything different.
Yep.
So
It's true.
if all you ever hear is mainstream media, you're being lied to. And, I'm glad you're here, because we're going to talk about things today that you will never hear on mainstream media, and that they would ban me for if we stayed on YouTube for it.
Yeah.
So to get started, I want to start with some things here. We have to remember that Satan is the god of this world, and remember that he is right now this flood that the Bible talks about. This is on my the stage is set, the video. This is the document that I'm looking at. And we've looked at this several times, and I keep coming back to this because I put so much information in here. And it's when the prophecies of the devil casting water out of his mouth as a flood. And then, in Daniel, it tells us that the Antichrist will, the end will be with a flood, and with the arms of a flood, they shall be overthrown before him, the Antichrist. Remember that God said after he flooded the world, he promised that he would never flood the world again like he did. So we know that this is not an actual flood like in Genesis chapter 6, 7, 8. This is not a flood of water flooding the world. And when I read this is the flood of lies. These are the lies that are basically flooding the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what I'm talking about, there's so many lies. We've talked about this in the last few weeks, where Satan's got the whole world waiting for their false prophecies. The Jews, the Muslims, deceived Christians, Catholics. The alien invasion. This lie about evolution. Satan has already flooded the world with his lies, and literally the whole world believes them. The whole world literally believes the lies of Satan, that it's a flood that's already encompassed the whole world. All those except those that really love Jesus are deceived by this. And the thing is, especially in the last few months, we've seen how half the world literally supports a demonic, murderous, rapist group of people, just because Satan has told everybody for decades that the Jews are the bad ones. And everybody believes that. That's one of these lies that Satan, when it says here, the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. I think this has already started. Because Satan has the world hating the Jews and Christians. And, he's spewing this flood already. And so it's happening right now. We have to understand, we have to put it in context. We have to remember that Satan is behind all of these things. And when we look at prophecy, which is what we do on Sundays, we have to remember that just as Jesus taught in parables. And the disciples said, why do you teach us in parables? Here it is in Mark chapter 4. It's in several places, but they asked him about the parable, and at one point they asked him, why do you teach in parables? And it says, and it's unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may not see, or that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted and their sins should be forgiven them. And this Jesus taught in parables because he does not want those that don't love him to understand. He doesn't want them to. That's why he doesn't appear to us in all his power and glory, where we can see him so that we can easily say, well, I don't see no God. I don't believe. There's no God. He wants us to be able to do that so that those that want to deny him, don't love him, won't. They won't see. They won't, out of fear, bow before him. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want us to bow before him out of fear. He wants us to love him and bow before him because he is the mighty God, our wonderful, awesome God, our creator. So that's why he taught in parables, and we have to remember that prophecy is written the same way. And we can't take like the book of Revelation. We can't go to book of Revelation and just read it and expect to understand prophecy. We can't go to Revelation, read it all by itself and expect to understand it. We have to go to Daniel. We have to go to Zechariah. We have to go to Ezekiel. We have to put all of those prophecies together in order to understand prophecy. And the lies of Satan aren't just all the big things. It's not just these big false religions, false prophecies that he's got set up in him, like we've talked about. You know, it's things like this. And I have this on the screen here because I want everyone to look at this and see if they can say what's wrong with that. And I'm not expecting an answer.
Oh, I can.
What?
Well, this is of Saint John the Divine instead of the revelation of Jesus Christ.
Thank you very much.
That's what I noticed.
You caught that. So this is a video I made, and I have an app that I pick images and little short clips from to insert in the video, and this is just one of them that has in there. And this is in a lot of Bibles. You see this, and in a lot of Bibles you see this, where it's just revelation, right? Like even here in my Bible app, it's just
where it says of
there's a
Saint
prologue. It's just revelation. What'd you say?
The first picture you showed us, is that from a Catholic Bible?
I thought it was that's what I would think.
John the Divine.
I don't think so. I mean,
Saint John
but you actually see that in some Bible versions. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Where it says the revelation of Saint John the Divine. Now, I'm going to ask everyone watching this video, what should it really say? Because what is the book of Revelation about?
It's about revealing.
What's the very first sentence, the very first statement
Revelation of
made?
Jesus Christ.
The revelation of Jesus Christ. The whole book of Revelation is about the revealing of Jesus Christ to the world. Yeah. And the original title of this in earlier Bibles was the revelation of Jesus Christ. This is the type of lie. This is the little things that Satan changes, the subtle things that Satan does, because now instead of the revelation of Jesus Christ, which it is, remember, if you've been with us for a while and you've been with us for studying Revelation, in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished. Because why? Because, he's going to come with clouds and every eye shall see him. And then they'll know who Jesus is. That's at the seventh trumpet. That's what it's talking about here in Revelation 10, in the voice of the seventh angel. That's when Christ returns. That's when he's going to appear in the clouds and every eye will see him. As it says in Matthew 24, he's going to come in the clouds of heaven with power and glory. And, the whole world is going to see Jesus. It's the revelation of Jesus Christ that this entire prophecy, this whole series of prophecies is about. The seals, the trumpets, and the vials all end at the return of Christ, at his revelation, the revealing of Christ to the world. That's what everything is about. In fact, everything is literally about Jesus. Everything. If you've been with us for any amount of time, you know that what I point out all the time is that the whole plan of God from the beginning. Why everything was made by him and for him is because God planned on becoming a man.
Right.
That's the whole reason for this entire creation, for our existence, for everything, is for God to become a man and dwell among us forever, to be with us, his people, those that love him. That's the plan of God. That's what all of this is for. And we have to put it in the right perspective. People always say, well, why does God allow all this evil? Well, because he loves us enough to put up with that grief and that suffering of seeing all the evil that men do so that he can save us. That's why he allows it. He's putting up with it. He's grieving at his heart, but he's putting up with it for us. And I don't know how many sci-fi people watch our channel, but I want to just give you a little kind of a thing that, for me, it helps me to relate to God and thinking of God and who he is and what he's done. He created all things exactly the way they needed to be created so that it would end up the way that he knew it would. Now, if you've ever read the Dune series, it's a sci-fi novel book called Dune, and it actually went to like 6 books in the series, but the first 3 are really good. If you're a sci-fi person, but it talks about this guy, Paul Atreides, that he became a Fremen, and he was the spice on this planet allowed him to see the future and see possibilities. And he got to the point where this spice had affected him where he could actually see all possible futures. So depending on what words you said when you spoke, or just innuendo, little innuendo, or little things that you did and changed, could affect the future hugely. And he got to the point where he could see every single possible future and every little nuance that would change that. Well, that's God. God can see every possible future. And the reason he created the angels along with creating us and did everything the way he did and gave us free will, and made it so that we can't see him. So we can just decide he doesn't exist if we want to, even though everyone knows he exists. Like when I was an atheist, I denied God, but deep down, I always knew. I just denied it emphatically. But God did it on purpose because he knows the end and he knows exactly how it needs to start and all of the things that need to happen in between so that he will end up with a people that love him, that he can recreate all of heaven and earth, the entire universe and multiverses will be recreated for us to dwell with him forever. That's his plan, and that's why he set it all up the way he did. And he knows exactly why he did it that way, even though we don't understand. But he even knew he would have to put up with the grief that he's going through right now, because he knew he was going to allow mankind to rule himself and how evil we would become. But he's doing it so that he will have us, those that love him, will be with him in the end. And that's the whole reason for it.
So he does things to teach us.
Right.
Yeah, partly.
Sachiko is here.
Hey, Sachiko.
Hello, sister. She says, she says she checked her Bible and didn't recognize until now, but it is written the revelation of Saint John the Divine.
Yeah. And that's one of Satan's little twists that change the whole meaning of this book, because it's the revelation of Jesus Christ. And that is how we have to read it in order to understand it. Yeah.
And Jay says, yes, God is putting up with it. Matt 13:28, he said, unto them an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up?
And that's the parable that he taught, the wheat
he
and the
said-
tares. Yeah.
But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them.
Yeah.
It's like people are so important to him, he's willing to put up with it to save more, even among the tares.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Amen,
that's
brother.
exactly right.
God loves us so much that
That
he's
he's putting
willing
up with
to
this
put up
garbage.
with this evil wickedness in
Yeah.
the world in order to save as many of us as he can.
Yeah, I was.
That's just so amazing.
And you know what's weird is like we talk about that too. You know, we talk about the things that we see that are going on in the world right now, and it is heart-wrenching, completely heart-wrenching. And it's hard for me sometimes to talk about it because I see so many things go. I'm such a patriot, and I see the country just falling and breaking down, and I see all the crime that's going on and the protesting and all the and it just breaks my heart in two. And then we were talking about this last week. I said, I can't even imagine what God is going through watching all the war and all the things that the bad angels, the demonic angels taught the world to do.
Yeah.
And he's putting up with it because he loves me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he loves me.
Yeah. Because he is such a wonderful, loving, long-suffering, merciful, gracious God.
The world is falling apart if you look at the weather.
I know,
and
everything.
People are angry and hateful and vindictive with each other.
And God is getting angry.
Yeah, and he's going to pour out his wrath.
He's angry.
When he comes back. And when he comes back in the clouds of heaven with power and glory, he takes those that love him out of the way, and then he pours out his wrath. Yeah. He's holding it all back right now.
Yeah.
You know, and people really need to face up to that God's going to pour out his wrath. And if you want to be here when God's pouring out his wrath, boy.
Good luck. And that's why, and it's so hard. It's so hard. Even with somebody like me who really does have a lot of compassion, and I'm kind to people when I go out in public, and I really try really hard to be, you know, kind and loving and godly. And it's so hard for me sometimes because people just make me so angry, and I have to just say, I can't fall into that. I have to be different. I have to be separated from that, and I have to be what they cannot be.
Yeah.
To expect them to be like
and
godly
that's what the Bible
impossible.
tells us is to be ye separate.
Right.
Yeah.
Be separate from them. Have no part with the unfruitful works of darkness. You know, be ye holy, for I am holy. And that's why we're on this journey. When we become a Christian, we begin the journey to holiness. We never get there, but we tread that path, and our purpose is to stay on the path and to continue following Christ and to attempt to get there, even though we can't.
Yeah.
We can never be perfect, but we try, right? That's the whole point.
It's
our heart is in the right place, that you try. Yeah.
Right.
And it is hard.
It is hard because people are so angry, they take it out on you, and then you want to be angry back at them, but you have to just say, no, this person doesn't know God.
Yeah, and we can't expect for them to act godly.
No,
they're not going, they cannot be that. But we know how to be godly. We know, and we know we need to be godly. So that's what we must choose every single time, is choose.
And in the heat of the moment, it's very difficult sometimes.
Oh, I know.
But that's why.
I know.
And I say this all the time. We need to walk in the Spirit. We need to practice that every day, all day. And practice inviting God into every moment of your life, talking with him, communicating with him all day long. As Paul says, praying without ceasing.
And just tell him, it's like you were saying before, you don't actually have to get down on your knees and pray. Just talk to him.
Right.
That's what I have to do when I'm working with difficult people. I have to say, Father, this isn't the way you want me to think. I'm not going to be like that.
Yeah.
Help me to be the peace.
Yeah. And that's it. We practice that.
Right.
Every day. And then it becomes second nature. And that's where we want to be. We want to be where it's second nature.
Right.
To just talk to God in every situation.
And sometimes we don't know what to ask him for. Then we just say, Lord, help me.
You. Or
help me.
Or
I've said that.
He knows what's in our heart. He knows what's in our mind. He knows what we mean, which is a good thing.
He knows what we need before we even know.
Oh,
Right.
what did Jay say? He said so important. Hold on. He said so important that he even let his son die.
Exactly.
That's why John said in another verse, what manner of love had the Father bestowed on us?
Yeah.
He said, I'm done.
Amen.
No. I'm really, really happy
that
you're talking, Jay. So
we're
don't
glad
say
you're
I'm
back,
done.
brother. We really are.
Yeah.
And that is the love that he has.
Yes.
It's like Jesus himself said, what greater love is found than someone who will lay their life down for their friend? And that's what he did. He laid his life down for us.
Yeah.
He loves us that much. Yeah.
But I got a question. Would we lay our life down for someone we don't, for an enemy?
Ooh.
But see, that's what he did, because we were all in sin.
I was just as bad as my enemy.
And that's one thing we need to think about. Yes.
Would we do that?
People would lay their life down for their close relatives or their close friends, but would you lay your life down for a stranger or your enemy? Yeah.
Well, I have a confession.
That's what God did.
I have had enemies in the past. And God changed my heart. And now I look on those enemies with more compassion than anyone else in the world.
Yeah.
And I pray for that enemy. And I love that enemy's soul enough to take that enemy to our Father.
Yeah. And pray
He's
for him.
changed. God has changed my heart to love my enemies, because that's what he wants me to do. And wanting that enough to where I can go to this person and talk to this person and feel compassion. And it is just a change for God. That's what it's about.
And that's
it's about loving
God
God.
did. That's what the Spirit of God did in you. Changed
Right.
you. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I've had enemies. I'm not perfect. And I know that I was probably an enemy to this person.
Yeah.
I was their enemy.
Yeah.
And I've done sins and wrong things towards people that I should never be forgiven for. So why do I think that I'm better?
Yeah.
Because I'm not.
That's why Jesus said that if we don't forgive, neither will we be forgiven.
And to not hold bitterness in your heart.
So when you forgive someone, make sure you truly forgive.
Right. You mean it. Yeah.
And have compassion enough to take that person to our Father.
Yeah.
And say, I pray for their soul. Help me to be a light to them so that they see you in me.
Yeah. And that's why he also taught that if, someday we find our enemy hungry and thirsty, we should be the one that gives them food and water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's spam.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, spam
Greedy.
has lots of protein in it.
Our expired spam.
Okay.
So spam actually has a pretty long shelf life too.
Well, good, because you're going to be eating the spam then.
So anyway,
yeah.
back to what we're talking about here, the prophecies of God and what Satan is doing in the flood of lies that he already has in the world. And we have to remember, as we've talked about, we've studied the prophecies, the false prophecies that Satan set up that have exactly mirror the Bible, except, the opposite. And Satan knows the prophecies of the Bible better than any man. He's had since the time of Daniel, 2,500 years ago, to study the prophecies.
He knows it.
Ezekiel, Zechariah, Daniel, and then John, the revelation
really
of Jesus
dumb.
Christ. And, he's had thousands of years, and he is a very powerful fallen angel. He is not some dummy,
Yeah.
and he knows
but
them.
that's kind of dumb. He knows what's going to happen to him in the end, and yet
he's full of pride. That's the thing. And that's why we've got to shed our pride. If you think about what really motivates Satan, is it's his pride.
Yeah.
So we should be afraid of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like Satan,
And he loves it when we get angry at people and we have pride in our
build up our
hearts,
pride,
bitterness. Oh, he loves it. He's just sitting there going,
yeah, he loves it.
Some really remarkable things can happen when you're meek and holy.
Yes,
and humble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And God
really
loves that. If we want to please our Heavenly Father, that is what we should be meek and lowly and humble and shed our pride. Yeah.
Yeah, he does love
And remember from whence we are fallen.
That's right. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
We came from a very bad place.
So Satan, we've talked about this a lot, and I'm trying to tie everything together. I don't know how good I am at this, but I try to tie everything together to help people just see see it the way I do. But I have a horrible time of trying to get what's in my head out of my mouth, and but I'm trying.
Oh, no.
And we have to remember that Satan has all of these things planned. That's why, when we studied these things, all of these false prophecies and all these big lies that Satan has the world just completely fooled by. Mm-hmm. And then we understand these little lies and everything in between. Satan has so much deceit in the world. And that was the primary warning of Jesus and the apostles in the epistles in the New Testament, was the abundance of deceit in the last days. And so we've got to remember that. And it's, we've got to, the whole reason that I show all the news that I do and try to tie it into prophecy is because it's really important to understand how far along Satan's plan is. Mm-hmm. How far along he is. This is the stages set document. And you have to remember, he is using these things to destroy the West. Mm-hmm. Because he's got to reduce the power of the Western world. Islam, all the nations of Islam could get together and they wouldn't have enough power to overthrow the West. Seriously. There's a lot of them, but they don't have the technology. They don't have the weapons. They don't, so he's got to destroy the West before he can create his Islamic union of those 10 kings, the fourth beast in Daniel 7, the fifth section of Daniel 2, the 10 toes on the feet and toes of iron mixed with clay. The clay is Islam. And the beast becomes one in Daniel or Revelation 13. And we see that, the 10 kings in Revelation 17 as well that give their power to the Antichrist. And then he teams up with the other beasts of Daniel 7. They all become one in Revelation 13. But this is Satan knows these things. And it's like I think it was last week, he tried with Antiochus Epiphanes. He tried with General Titus of the Roman Empire. He tried with Hitler. I'm sure there's many other times that Satan has tried to implement this, tried to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because ever since the time of Daniel, he's wanted to make it happen. He knows it's going to, so he's trying to force it. But it's not going to happen until God, as it says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, God has his hand in the way.
Yeah.
And when he lifts it, that's when things will progress.
It happens on his terms.
Right. When God wants it to, not when Satan wants it to. And so he's trying again. And we can see now that we're in the time of the end, we can see the prophecies of God, just the color photo that he gave us, the video he sent us, basically, of here's what it's going to look like in the end. We can just see it so clearly now. And we can see Satan has all of these things going on to destroy the West. And he's going to succeed. I say that because the prophecies of the Bible are going to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to succeed. He is going to create a union of 13 nations. And he's going to use them to take over the world militarily and politically. And he's going to create a one world religion, which they're very far along that track too, with this man right here, and him, creating his interfaith temple and pushing interfaithism. And remember, it's not a union of Catholicism and Islam that we're going to see.
No.
Just like that's not what's happening now. Muslims don't believe in interfaithism, but they're going along with it because what it's doing is we're submitting to them.
Right.
We're submitting to them. It's not a mutual thing.
Yeah.
Not at all. And that's what it's going to be, is it's going to be a submission of Catholicism to Islam in the end. And it's going to be a one world religion of Islam that the Antichrist will rule. And, I've believed this for years now. It's just become so easily seen now. Now that we've, especially since October, you can see how half of the world is now sympathetic to Islam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And murderous
They don't even
rapists.
know what they're supporting, though.
I know.
They have no idea what they're supporting.
But it's because they're deceived by this flood of lies from Satan's mouth. And it's fooling everyone. There's so many, I see so many Jew haters out there. And
even
literally
people who call themselves Christians.
And for no reason.
They just hate the Jews because they're responsible for all the evil in the world. No, they're not. They're just as evil as the other non-believers, but they're not responsible for all the other non-believers, nor do they control them.
They're not.
If they control the world, they're doing a really, really bad job of it. They don't control the media. They don't control the UN. They don't control anything. They have lots of money. There's Jews that have lots of money, but that's because Satan has set them up to be the faces that people hate so that we'll hate Jews. Satan is our true enemy.
He's very busy. He's a very, very busy.
And we have to remember that this is centuries in the making. This is not something that just happened in the last 3 years.
He's got a lot of patience.
It's not something that just happened. Yeah, he definitely does. It's not something that just happened in the last few decades. This is centuries in the making.
Mm-hmm.
And, the secret society has been around for centuries. And, when you talk about the puppet master, and, and then, I don't think I have a picture of Klaus Schwab on here, but, we look at the faces of these people and we think that they're the people. No, they're not.
Have they ended their summit?
I don't think it's.
If anybody is watching,
yet.
that's. I don't even know if I want to say anything on YouTube.
They canceled the public thing because of threats, and then they've increased security, but I don't think it's over yet.
Yeah, I don't even really want to say anything right now.
But we're going to talk about that more when we jump
forgot.
off of YouTube.
Yeah.
But
You're not on YouTube right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we are.
And
Yeah,
then
we're
we'll
gonna drop YouTube here in a little bit. But here's the
And
thing
then
we
go
have to
drop
remember that the faces that we see are the actors on the stage. They're not the puppet master. Klaus
Mhm.
Schwab is a puppet. He is not the man in charge,
Mhm.
right? As everybody thinks he is. That's the true puppet masters want you to think that he's the man because he's the guy that's on the stage that they're controlling, right? And so we have to remember that. Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, all of these political leaders, Francis, they're all actors on the stage that
Little
are doing the
puppets.
will of their master. And people like Elon Musk,
he's a puppet.
controlled opposition. He is one of them.
Yeah,
This is
the little
Luciferians
are all having a little squabble right now.
And it's a facade. It's controlled opposition. Oh, I'm their enemy. I'm your friend.
Oh yeah.
But it goes even deeper than that with Musk, because I think there's infighting among them. And Musk said, "All right, you guys have failed. I'm taking over now."
Oh yeah, they're fighting.
And he's trying that. And that's, but he's definitely one of them, right? And so that's the thing. And we have to remember all of this. And that's what, when I jump into the news here again, remember that the reason I show you all of this news isn't because I'm trying to beat a dead horse or I'm picking on a particular group of people or anything like that. It's because this is the relevant news that's in the news right now.
Mhm.
Last week, this is what's happening right now. And this is all fitting right into Satan's plans. This is exactly what Satan is doing. Coordinating all of this, getting people to fight, creating the war that he knows has to happen, creating the destruction of the West so that he can bring out his Islamic Antichrist. He's setting us all up, and he's doing a bang up job of it because the world believes him.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show a little bit of news, and then we're going to drop off of YouTube, and we're going to talk about some other things. But I know that you've all seen this week after week after week, but this is brand new news that just happened this week. That's why I keep showing you the same thing. So, but I'm going to rip through it really quick. Really quick. Because it's not important that we discuss everyone, but it's important that we see how much it's happening.
Yeah.
In New York City, pro-Hamas protesters violently attacking just a mother and her daughter. I mean, how is she responsible for what's going on in Israel? She's a New Yorker.
Yeah.
She just happens to be Jewish.
Yeah.
But this is the level of deceit and the level of the mindset of these people is it's violence. They're very violent. They're not just peaceful protesters, and the leader of an anti-Israel group calls for the final blow to destroy Israel. Why is it okay to want genocide on any race? Just because we're all led to believe the Jews are evil, now it's okay to kill an entire race of people? How is this happening? It's Satan. It's the flood of lies coming out of his mouth that are fooling and deceiving the world.
Yeah.
Biden no longer on speaking terms. Now I heard that they finally spoke again after like 2 weeks. But sorry, BB, Biden is bypassing Netanyahu and planning for Gaza future. They're trying to, and in fact, there's another one here, the U.S. campaign to remove Netanyahu from office. He's not going along with them anymore. Now, if you look at, if you look at what happened in Israel, I can't talk about that until we get off of YouTube.
Yeah.
But Israel is definitely part of them. right? Israel was the first to implement the controls and the things that happened in the last few years. They were the first and the most. And they're definitely part of the secret society, and they're answering to the same people as the rest of the Western world is. We saw that. So, but we'll talk about it more later. But this is, and it's not one-sided. It's not just that Netanyahu doesn't want to go for this two-state solution they're trying to force. Neither does the Palestinian Authority. Because remember, the Palestinian Authority is really just Hamas with a different name. They're the same people. They want the same things. Yeah. There's no difference. It's just Islam.
Hamas is just their little do-boys.
Yeah. And so we have to remember that. But that's the thing, and then, the scholar, it's time to get rid of Israel and America. Remember, it's not just the Jews that Satan hates. Oh, yeah. It's not just the Jews that Islam hates. It's America and Christianity specifically. Yeah. They are coming for us, not just the Jews. Remember, we've seen this over and over. Children that pledge to become martyrs for Islam. Yeah. Children, they're teaching them to want to die for their political and religious agenda.
Well, if you can reach the children, you're in.
Yeah. Muslims, the time has come for the Yemenis to lead the holy jihad and rid the Islamic nation of Israel and America.
You should probably talk about that.
I'm going to talk more about it on just Rumble, because this is, we know that the Houthis are Yemenis, however you say that, and this is the mindset. This is why they're doing what they're doing, because they believe it is time for them to lead holy jihad against Israel and America. That's why they're going all out, and they don't care that we're retaliating. They think this is the promised conquest and holy jihad war. This is what they think. It's the promised conquest and holy jihad war of prophecy in Islam that Satan set up.
It's the president of Yemen, right? Who said that? Isn't it the president or the whatever he's
I don't know who said that.
I think so. Because remember, it's Hezbollah is coming out of Yemen. It's their gang.
Well, Hezbollah comes out of Lebanon. But
Lebanon, yeah.
Hezbollah is just an Iranian
yeah, it is.
arm.
It's their little
It's a
gang.
military
it's like
arm
the
of-
Hamas. It's just their gang.
It's just another one.
It's
yeah.
just an area gang. That's what it is. It's like the
Yeah.
Crips and the whatevers.
And then again, I know we've seen this before, that that killing Jews is an act of worship. An act of worship is killing, genociding a race of people. That's why I keep saying Islam is really about Jew hatred. Satan set up Islam to try to destroy Israel. That's really the whole reason for it. It's just, wow. It's and literally half the world is supporting that. Canada, pro-Houthi protesters take to the Toronto streets in solidarity with Hamas. Like, oh boy, Canada, I feel sorry for, I know it's coming here, but it's a little bit further along in Canada, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then, left-wing anti-Semitism soars 1,750%. Remember, we have to, if you're like me and you kind of envisioned how many people were so deceived by all of these things. And I didn't think it was that many, but after October 7th, literally half of the world is for it. It's like, wow, is this a flood?
Fast.
I mean,
it did. It grew significantly.
Yes,
it's just absolutely mind-blowing how fast this is happening.
Yeah.
Netherlands, Muslim migrants attack a Quran burner, right?
Oh.
So, I mean, it's kind of dumb to go out among Muslims and burn their holy book, but, you know, this is Netherlands. They're trying to protest. They're trying to say, get out of here.
Except what would you do if somebody just went out on the middle of the street and started burning the Bible? I'd be like, good luck.
Well, to me, it's like, that's just paper.
It's just
You're
a
not,
book.
You're
I
not
know,
actually destroying God's
That's why
word.
God says to hide it in
Yeah.
your heart.
God's word is what
In
he
your-
spoke, and it's in our hearts. And
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't go kill
Yeah,
them.
well, we wouldn't kill people for burning the Bible. They actually have done that a lot.
I might tell them, you know, you're going to stand before Jesus one day.
Yeah, so you probably should
you're
read
going
it instead
to
of burn
kneel
it.
before Jesus one
Yeah,
day, and you're going to wish you hadn't done that.
Yeah.
In the United Kingdom, Muslim rape gangs highlight massive police failure. So remember, we've talked about France and Germany and the UK and how they have literally fallen to Islam because of illegal immigration, which wasn't illegal in Europe then, which isn't illegal in the United States now, obviously, because they're just opening the border saying, come on in. They're paying them, helping them get here. You know, it's not, they're just bringing them in. And so I keep bringing this up. I keep showing you these things because what's happening there in Europe is coming soon to the United States. Because there's millions of them that have come over the border.
Do you think it's because we have more resistance here in the United States, and we're also pro Second Amendment, and why is it so? Why is it slower to get to the United States?
It's because we didn't go along with Europe when they opened all their borders. We didn't do that. And we're always about 10 years behind Europe in typical things, right? And we're getting there. And part of the reason and I say they, and I'm including our current government, opened our borders is to accelerate this process because it's not happening here. And they want it to happen here. They want us to reach the level of Europe so that, you know, he can bring the West to its knees.
Yeah.
As is his plan. Germany, high school students act as Sharia police. So this is Germany. High school students in Germany are now policing under Sharia law, pressuring Muslims who don't obey it
to strictly
obey it, and pushing it on non-Muslims.
Wow.
Biden regime to list Houthis as terrorists while still making it legal to fund them.
Oh yeah, he's still giving billions of dollars to Iran.
They're now terrorists, but it's okay to give them money.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. This is like
he listed them as terrorists, and then he took it back and said that they weren't really terrorists. But now he's saying that they're terrorists again.
They are,
but he's still giving them money.
And it's okay, yeah.
He's still funding
and
them.
Remember when we studied
like all over the place. It's just
remember when we studied who is they?
Yeah.
Remember that the secret society, they flaunt things in our face and laugh at us because they think we're really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They think we're so stupid that we don't understand what they're doing. And they largely get away with it, which is very sad.
Mm-hmm.
In Niger, Muslims screaming.
Niger.
Oh, Niger, okay.
It's French.
Screaming Allahu Akbar, open fire at Gendam or whatever post, murdering 3 civilians in Niger. And then this is in Wisconsin. An imam in Wisconsin preaching they will try everything, but it's only jihad that can bring victory. So basically encouraging violence by Muslims, you know. Yeah. Yeah. On second thought, you probably will believe it because this is just typical of Islam. And they are making great headway in the United States.
Yeah.
You know,
They are.
I really wonder what the numbers are now, but because it used to be maybe 2% Muslims in the U.S. I bet it's much higher than that now.
Oh yeah.
Over 2,600 terror attacks in Judea and Samaria since October 7th. Now, remember where Judea and Samaria are. What is it called today?
The West Bank.
The West Bank. This is a hotbed where it's a mix of Muslims and Jews that live there.
Mm-hmm.
2,600 terror attacks since October 7th have happened in that area.
Yeah.
2 months.
You know, you don't see any of that on mainstream news. You see zero. You know nothing about that if that's all you watch. The area of Judea is West Bank. Jesus warned about it when the Antichrist takes over. Remember? Said if you're in that area to run, don't even get a change of clothes when the Antichrist sits in the temple of God claiming to be God. When the Antichrist takes over, he's going to just tell Muslims to just wipe out the Jews there. Yeah.
That's going to be bad.
And remember, Palestinians here are targeting Christian religious sites. They don't just hate the Jews.
Right.
They hate us.
Oh, yeah.
Where am I at? I got to really speed this up here. ISIS calls on Muslims to carry out jihad massacres of Jews, Christians, and their allies on the streets of America. This is what the newly reformed ISIS is calling for. Because remember, you can't kill ISIS. It's just another Hamas. It's just another Hezbollah. It's another Al Qaeda. It's all just Islam. It's Muslims. It's not anything other than the 1.8 billion of them that exist in the world. Now, not all of them want to kill us, but they certainly will not stop their brother from doing it, and they won't even say they don't want, because their own family will kill them if they don't go along with it.
Yeah, they can't resist.
Houthis, all American British interests have become legitimate targets.
I'm glad you don't call them the Houthis.
The Houthis.
Everyone calls them
Iranian
Houthis.
Iran bombs a U.S. consulate in Iraq 2 months after the Biden regime gave them $10 billion.
$10 billion.
So what are they using the money we gave them for? To bomb us.
To make bombs.
Wow.
The PA, the Palestinian Authority, increases the number of pay-for-slay beneficiaries. While they're whining about not having any money, they're paying martyrs and martyrs' families.
Yeah, they're funding Hamas. They're funding Hezbollah.
If you send your son to go blow up the enemy, we'll pay you. That's what they're using our money for. Our humanitarian aid is going to pay for martyrs to kill us.
I don't know. It is our money, but they're just printing it. You know, they're printing money so fast that.
Yeah, but it's still.
We didn't even work for it.
It's still.
They're just printing. Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't even think it is our used money. I think they're just printing it faster than they can.
Well, that's true, but it is still our money. If we pay taxes,
well,
it's our money.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
it's not. You know.
Yeah. The PA is just another Muslim-led organization. You know, they just want to destroy Jews and Christians. That's what they're bent on. It's their whole agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, meets with the Hamas-linked CARE, the Council on American and Islamic Relations, after the CARE top dog says that jihad's massacres on October 7th made him happy. So Gavin Newsom just thinks that's perfectly okay, apparently.
I don't think anybody should be that surprised.
Well, not for Gavin Newsom now. Houthis make a national socialist salute and scream, "Curse the Jews." It's all about
they're
hating.
pirates.
It's all about hating the Jews, and now
Pirates.
they've got, they're licensed because they're going to take over the holy war, the jihad holy war. So now they're
really wanting to bring that.
China's foreign minister meets with Arab leaders, calls for larger scale peace conference and two-state solution. This is I keep saying it. I think it's going to happen this way. Neither side wants the two-state solution right now,
No.
but they're going to force it. And that's what Jesus meant when he said Jerusalem would be compassed with armies, and then the desolation would be nigh. The time of the Antichrist would be coming right around the corner when that happens. This one's a good one. I watched this video. This Islamic fundamentalist explains why they love the Democrats and the left.
Oh, yeah, they support
You want to
them.
know why? He said, "I saw them as very stupid, but I fear the conservatives because they come with principle. But the left, I know they have no values, no principles, and can be easily distracted with climate, LGBT, trans, etc." That's what he said.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's why they love the left and the Democrats. Yeah,
I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean,
that
I don't
came
want to
from the
support
mouth
him.
of an Islamic fundamentalist. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
A thing that Biden's kind of doing behind the scenes, I don't know if many people know about this, but he's signing into law this rule about foster care and Christians being foster parents. But the rule goes beyond just foster care. They're attacking Christian values across the board. Homeschooling, if Christian values are taught to children, it's defined as child abuse. To teach your child Christian values. This is what's being pushed in this new rule. Yeah. This is an attack on Christianity.
What I don't understand. I know this is opening up another can of worms, but I'm just saying, there's so many Catholics out there that are really staunch Catholics, okay? They follow the Pope, etc., etc. And then you have somebody like Biden, who proclaims to be
says he's a Christian,
and he's for late-term killing of unborn children. So how do they allow him to stay in that religion? Is what I'm asking. Like, why are they not?
They've tried to ban Pelosi and Biden from getting communion and stupid things like that.
I know, but they don't do that. So why? Why? Yeah. Even as good Catholics,
remember who the head of the snake is, really.
Well, I know, but
remember that everything they do to the public is a facade. Everything that they show you to your face is a facade. So the Catholic Church can't be believed in anything they say.
But I'm talking about
the all game plan.
I'm talking about the people who are in my neighborhood.
Well, most of the people in your neighborhood that are Catholic probably hate that man standing right
there. Oh, well, they do. They do. They do. They do.
Yeah.
But then stop voting for him. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it.
Why do you stay a Catholic?
Yeah, why do you? Yeah,
when you understand what Pope
means.
Francis is doing and all the things of the Catholic Church. Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, nobody.
In Maine, a man who converted to Islam and then tried to kill 3 cops while screaming Allahu Akbar. They're brainwashing our youth. It's a young man, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're brainwashing our youth and converting them left and right. That's why I think the numbers are much higher right now.
Oh, yeah. Especially now.
Especially when half of the country supports Hamas.
Yeah.
Literally half. They're all going to convert to Islam. Oh, boy. Now, here's the other side of the coin I wanted to show you. I've shown you a lot of things about Gazan civilians clapping and cheering as they're raping and murdering. But they're also mad at Hamas because why? Because they know that they're taking all of that humanitarian aid that they're getting from other countries to help the Gazans and using it to buy mansions and becoming filthy rich while they're starving. So, of course.
Oh, they're wanting Israel to get rid of them.
Because they're stealing all the aid that they should be getting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Their own people are turning against them.
Yeah. Here's a New York City public school map. Where's Israel? There's this place called Palestine in between Egypt and Lebanon.
There is no Israel.
They've erased Israel.
Right.
The New York City public school. Tell me this ain't coming soon to America.
I wonder what some of the parents are thinking in the school.
I've seen recent articles. Actually, I don't have it in my list, but where a lot of Americans are turning to homeschooling because of the failed system and the brainwashing and everything that's going on. And so they're trying to make it illegal to homeschool. They can't do it yet, but they're pushing for that. That's part of this rule that Biden's implementing about, foster parenting. Is it all leads right into this where they're going to ban Christianity completely.
Mm-hmm. So it'd be really easy when it's time for people to take the mark of the beast.
Yeah. They're just going to fall right into it. Yeah.
It'll just be one last step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we see escalation going on in the troubles in the Middle East. The 5 key Iranian terrorists were killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Iran vows revenge.
Yeah.
Lots of escalation going on with the conflicts over there. And Iran's behind all of it.
Oh yeah.
We already know that. Israel must go to war with Hezbollah, right? Because it's not just Hamas, it's Islam. Hezbollah is just another arm.
All over the place.
It's just, and that's why I don't think this is going to end until it's forced peace. Yes. I think they're going to go in there with UN troops and they're going to force the peace. And that's when the peace treaty is going to be signed. And that's when they're going to draw the borders of Israel. And that's when the confirmation of the covenant is going to be realized.
Man, it's just coming so cool.
And a U.S. imam, whatever you call it, a U.S. imam calls for the genocide of Jews again. They will all be executed by Muslims. I keep telling you that Islam is really about Jew hatred, and it really is, because Satan created it to wipe out the Jews.
Sorry, Joe.
Netanyahu denies telling Biden he might agree to a Palestinian state. He's flopping on that because he doesn't want them taking over and creating this 2-state solution. He wants to continue his campaign of, retribution. Mm-hmm. Again, every week, I know we see this every week, but this is new news. This is every week I show you this because this is really, this is coming to a city or a town near you. I'm telling you, it's coming. We need to be prepared for this to happen. Well, it is in some
towns. It's in Minnesota. It's in Michigan.
Yeah.
It is.
It's already there. Yeah.
It's already there.
They burned
Wisconsin.
6 people to death. Burned them to death.
Islamic.
Yeah. In Nigeria. Yes, Islamic law sanctions the Hamas rape of captives. Absolutely it does. Sharia law sanctions raping non-Muslim women. You can make them near sex slaves. So that's all for that.
Yeah, we're running
we're running out of time, but I'm gonna drop off of YouTube now. So for everyone that's on YouTube,
Go
We're
to
going to remain
WJ.
on Facebook, and we're going to remain on Rumble. So go to rumble.com/Bible prophecy. And when you get to that page, you don't have to have an account. You'll see this live right here. This is the live we're doing right now. So just go to rumble.com/Bible prophecy and then click on this live, and
That's where
we
we
will
get
continue
spicy
there.
because we can.
Yeah. So if you wouldn't mind, honey, go ahead and click on the YouTube right up here. Click
YouTube.
on that and then say remove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remove.
And then remove. So bye, YouTube.